Look at that. First little kokanee on that fly. It's a little bit small, so I'm gonna let him go. He's pretty lively. Just hooked him in the beak, and I'll let this one go because I want a bigger one. Well, welcome back to the Fishing Doctor's Adventures. Today I drove out from Alberta, driving home. Didn't know how far we'd make it, and I made it all the way to Stump Lake, and I'm here for the morning bite. The kids are still sleeping in the car. Maybe they'll come out a little later. But my plan was, I think his name is Ryan Cao. He said I should do a little bit of information on driving safety in the winter. So stick around. I'll talk about that, how you can get around in the interior of BC safely in the winter, and what you really need to be prepared so that you're not having vehicle type problems getting to the lake, okay? That's always a main concern, is safety, and I want you to be safe when you're traveling out to get out and catch some fish. So let's stick around and see if we can't catch some more kokanee, maybe some big ones. I'm on Stump Lake today, and it's known to have some really big kokanee, so hopefully there are a few in store for us. A few quick tips about driving on the Coquihalla in the interior of BC. You need to follow the BC highway travel regulations, and it depends on the type of vehicle you have, whether you have a two-wheel drive or a four-wheel drive, and it'll tell you what kind of tires you need. A lot of vehicles would be best off with winter tires. The full-on, they have a mountain with a snowflake on, that's a full-on winter tire. Studs probably even better, but for the two-wheel drives, four-wheel drives, you can use the Mud and Snow M plus S. Those tires, I think they need about 3 or 3.5 millimeters of tread to qualify for the safety standard for travel on the highways in the interior of BC. The key is to be aware that the weather conditions can change at any time, and you can usually look ahead at the forecast, the Coquihalla forecast. They have webcams along, so you can actually see how snowy it is, if there's packed snow and ice, if the roads are clear, so you know what to expect and what kind of driving conditions are ahead of you. The key is you don't want to be rushing things. That's when accidents happen, right? Drive the speed limit's posted or under usually. When it's snowing and packed snow, you want to take your time because it's really easy to lose control. I've done it a couple times, spun out a little bit. Especially when there's packed snow and ice on the road, it causes your wheels to catch and grab the vehicle in strange ways. So when it's like that, you better be going like 50 to 60 kilometers an hour. I wouldn't recommend going any faster than that when you have that really packed, choppy snow. It's probably the worst conditions. If it's just snowing and there's none of that packed stuff, you can go a little faster, 70, 80, depending on what kind of vehicle you have. And if you have a four-wheel drive or an all-wheel drive and it has a mode that you can actually click into the auto four-wheel or four-wheel high, that's probably the best bet, and change into your snow mode on your vehicle. That way you'll probably give your vehicle the best chance to maintain control on those snowy and icy conditions. So that's a huge thing. I think some vehicles may even require chains, so like I say, you have to check your vehicle and always think ahead. I drive with a full tank. I always fill up, before I come up. I never drive with half a tank because a lot of time there's accidents. You can be stopped on the road for hours and go earlier than you expect to, because travel times can usually take twice as long as they do in the summertime. So all of these things reduces the amount of rushing that you have to do on the road and makes it a lot safer. Some of the most dangerous periods of time on the highway are when you're actually passing larger vehicles like semis, because when you can't really see the lanes really well, pick your opportunity when to pass them. If it's blowing snow and you can't really see, I don't recommend passing them. But sometimes you can see pretty well, no blowing snow, then you can go by them. But go by slowly and don't catch that deeper snow on the edge. Oh, I got one. Because oh, look at that. Rainbow trout. That deeper snow on the edge will really pull you into that curb, and that's not what you want. So let's unhook this guy. We'll get him back because we want kokanee, and we want something bigger than that. So that deeper snow on the edge can really grab you as well. So stay away from it. That's bad stuff, okay? Also, snow plows, okay? They're there to help you. They're there, your friend. Be aware. You're not really supposed to pass them, okay, when they're clearing snow. So they usually will pull over and let you pass. But if there's 3 lanes, you can probably pass them. But be aware, if it's blowing snow and you see their flashing lights, don't go past them, because sometimes they have a double blade out. The blade extends over 2 lanes, and if you go and you'll hit that blade, you won't even see it because the snow is blowing. All you see is their flashing lights. It's quite dangerous. So I wouldn't recommend passing them, okay? I don't pass them unless it's safe, okay? Like you have 3 lanes and they're a whole lane away. From my perspective, let's see, snowplows, trucks, be aware of slushy conditions. The roads might look wet, but that slush is super slippery, and don't push it on those slick roads because it might feel like you have traction, but in a split second you don't and you're sliding. Also, watch the temperature. If your vehicle has a temperature reading, I always pay attention to the temperature. You know, are you at +2, +3, 0, -1? The most dangerous temperatures, I'm telling you, are right around the -1, 0, and +1. That is when ice is wet and it's super slippery. The colder you get, you actually get some traction on ice. It gets a little sticky. So maintain, so you may think, oh yeah, it's positive, I'm not gonna slip, but that +1, +2 can be very dangerous, and you need to be very cautious. When you see that slick, shiny color, you're just gonna slide like a skating rink, and that's probably when most of the collisions happen. Never make quick, jerky motions. Always maintain slow, steady movement. Slow down through curves. Never slam on your brakes. When you slam on your brakes, you lose control, go off the road. So slow movements, slow braking, all of these things will help you maintain control. Now, most of the highways are maintained pretty well, but a lot of these backcountry lakes, not the greatest. Most of them are snow plowed into them, but you may actually find that you have not had a recent plow, and you could have up to 6 inches of snow on the road. So if you have a 2-wheel drive, you might actually not be able to travel into some of these lakes. Then you'd have to defer. So always have a backup plan, another lake that's closer to the highway that probably is maintained, because some of those higher mountain lakes right after a snowstorm, you may have trouble getting into without a 4-wheel drive. Be very cautious going into those lakes. There's a lot of windy roads. It's easy to slide off because you don't know what's coming. If you get a little bit of speed going down a whole hill, easy to slide off the road. I've done it a few times, hit the snowbank, you know, going a little bit too fast around a corner when the conditions are right around that freezing level. So always be cautious when it comes to that as well. What else can I tell you about driving? Make sure you have like some food, wear your warm clothes or have them close by, like your gloves out, everything in case there is an accident and you need to get out and do something quick or get out of your car. You don't want to freeze, like say, who knows what, you got in an accident, your car starts on fire or whatever. You want to grab your warm stuff because cold is dangerous. Cold can freeze you, can kill you. And if you're driving in the evening, there might not be that many people out here. So always take care of yourself. Make sure your gas tank is full, you got some food, and you got warm clothing, and you'll probably be safe, okay? So that's my tips for driving on the Coquihalla. Always think ahead, drive slower than you think, and get used to the roads the first few times, because it is quite a dangerous section of highway in Canada. A lot of people go off the road, and I see a lot of big accidents, probably fatality crashes, semis tipped over. So you really got to be careful. Pay attention to semis when they're coming towards you and they're flashing their light. It usually means there's an accident around one of the corners. So all these are little things to pay attention to when you're driving. Just be very aware, be very defensive, and you'll be safe, okay? So let's catch some fish. There you go. Another little kokanee. Man, they're pretty small this year. Oh, back down the hole. That one I didn't even touch. He just dropped straight back down the hole. See, I was down deep on that one, and I saw him swim by up high, raised up to him, and he just hit it right away. There's one right there. There's 2 right there. I got one. I got him. Another little kokanee. All those little tiny kokanee. So while fishing for kokanee, I use a depth sounder. It's a flasher sonar, so it just shows me the signals where my lures are and where the fish come in. Helps you determine the depth that the fish are swimming so that you can drop or raise your lure to them. You can also see their behavior if they're swimming away or towards your lure, and how to respond to them. Usually when they're in the area, I try to slowly pull the jig away from them. Having sonar really helps because you know when there's a fish there, you know when you get ready for a bite, you can kind of encourage them or coerce them into biting. It's really helpful having sonar or having a tent where you can look down the hole and actually see the fish. Otherwise, it makes it a lot more difficult to catch fish because then you're just sitting in a hole. You don't even know if there's fish in the area. Whereas I can fish on a hole for a while, and if I'm not seeing anything or catching anything, I just move to another hole, 50 yards away, 100 yards away, until I find fish. And I can also find the depth that they're at, because if one swims by like 20 feet below my hook, I can drop my hook down to him and actually try to catch that fish that's swimming by. Whereas if I didn't have sonar, I wouldn't even know that fish was in the area. So sonar is key when ice fishing, because you're limited by one 6 to 8 inch hole in the ice. You got to give yourself as much information as you can in order to catch fish. Otherwise, it's really difficult. You can imagine in the summer, you cover a large area of fishing. In the winter, you're just waiting for a fish to swim to you. So your lure is working on attracting the fish to the area, but if there's no fish to be attracted, oh, there's one. There we go. Oh, I lost him. He's still there. Bait? Yeah, I lost my bait. I better put on new bait. So that really is a key, is the bait, because they can kind of smell it. Yeah, he's still down there. He's looking for me. So you want to get new fresh bait on, get back down there, and hopefully he's still in the area and we'll come eat it. There's one. There we go. I got one. Oh, it's another rainbow trout. Little guy. Let's get back down because there's more down there. That bait makes a big difference. Like they were following before, but you put that bait on it, they just hit it right away. There's another one down there, so you never know what's down there. Kokanee or rainbow trout, so you just have to catch them all. Do your best to hook them all. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between, the little rainbow trout and the kokanee because they kind of act the same. They swim around, and usually the same type of motion. That pulling away really helps attract their attention and trigger a bite. The other thing is when you're kokanee fishing, work the whole column, drop it down 20-30 feet. Oh, there's one. No, that's just my hook. Drop it down 20-30 feet and then slowly work it back up to the surface and then go back down and covering that whole water column, because it's a three-dimensional thing, right? Fish can be anywhere. These are suspended fish over like 60 to 100 feet of water. They're not relating to bottom structure. So you got to cover that top water column to find out exactly where they are. Sometimes they're really deep, like 60 feet down, but most of the time I start up shallow because that's usually where they are. Well, I stopped marking anything here, so I'm gonna move, 50 yards away and see what happens. Let's go. Look at this, another kokanee. It's about that same size. I don't know if there's bigger ones. Well, I know there's bigger ones because I've seen them. But these guys, they're fun to catch, but I'd like to catch the bigger ones to eat them so there's some meat on them. These little guys, I don't know how much meat's on them, but there should be some bigger ones down there. Another one. There's a bunch down there, but the big ones elude me. There we go. I got one. Oh, I got one. Another one. Another little guy. Coquihalla. Lots of those ones. There's another one down there. I want bigger ones. Maybe I'm being greedy. I thought there was bigger ones in here. Last year, man, I was getting some chunks. Another little guy. There was a bunch down there deeper, but just little guys. Little guys. Well, thanks for watching this episode of the Fishing Doctor's Adventures out fishing for kokanee and helping you get a safer travel down the central area of British Columbia, the Coquihalla, and the other areas of the interior. I hope that helps you. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. I know some guys ask specific lakes I'm fishing, and I won't always give you those details, but all of the lakes I fish are available on gofishbc.com. They tell you what lakes and what species are stocked all over the province, when they're stocked, how big they're stocked. Anyone can find these lakes. I just don't particularly point out a single lake because I'm afraid a lot of traffic might head there, and that's not necessarily needed. Some of the bigger lakes like this one, Stump Lake, they stock a lot of fish and there's a lot of room to fish, so I'm not as worried, and it's right beside the highway, so people already know about it. But some of the little tiny lakes that are only stocked with 1,000 fish a year, not really something I want to give away. But you can find those lakes and you are welcome to go get them just like I can or anyone else. But remember, be careful out there on the roads this year. And good luck fishing. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and share with someone else. God bless. See you guys later. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.